All right, I'm trying a new intro where I say the first 5 words that come into my head. Blitz, quandary, open, conundrum, shield. Okay, so we're a week deep, 1 week down to 5.3, and we're talking about item level upgrades. Now, a lot of people have been asking this question, so I decided to make a brief video on it, at least from my perspective, on what pieces should be upgraded first and what pieces you should sit on for a bit before you waste a Valor. Obviously, each week you'll be able to get 1,000 Valor, so that's going to mean 2 fully upgraded pieces a week, provided you do it, the normal way. Now that makes you're gonna get more gear in, obviously, so that makes that decision a bit clouded. Should you wait? How many heroics you're killing, stuff like that. So here's a few factors that you should take into effect. Any best in slot Thunderforged heroic pieces obviously off the table. Just upgrade them immediately. If you get a heroic Thunderforged piece, there should be no question in your mind that you should upgrade that piece. You shouldn't even need this video for that. Heroic gear in general, you should really consider upgrading. Unless it's a boss that isn't dropping a lot of loot for anyone else, really. So, say I have heroic Thunderforged boots, or I have heroic boots that nobody else needs. Well, then the next Thunderforged piece is mine. So maybe wait on those, right? Another factor that you want to take into play. How about normal Thunderforged? Normal Thunderforged pieces seem like a really good option, but is the piece going to drop from a heroic you have on farm, essentially? So we got 4 down. Good example here is my shell. I have the heroic, or I have the normal Thunderforged version, but we are farming Tortos. We're going to kill that boss every week, and I'm going to get the shield when it drops. And it's going to be on heroic, so it's going to be better off, And then, ultimately, how big of an upgrade is upgrading the piece? That's the next thing you need to think about. Obviously, each piece is going to gain 3 eye levels, but 3 eye levels on rings is not 3 eye levels on chest. There is no question about that. So that's something that we got to talk about, all right? So first off, if it's an even balance, right? If every piece is the same eye level and you're not going to be upgrading any of it, the best options to upgrade are weapon first. All right, so if I'm pretty sure any player in the game, like no matter spec, class, what preference, weapon's the best. I mean, look at this weapon. It has so much fucking spell power on it, right? It's just insane. And it's my weapon's heroic, so it just gains so much. A weapon is so important for every spec. So I'm saying weapon first, all right? Depending on what class and spec you are, trinkets can be really good. The trinket, it's not going to change the amount, the proc or nothing like that. It's going to change the actual quantity, the number associated with the proc. It's not going to make it proc more, but it's going to make it proc for more number, right? So for this trinket right here, Horadon's Last Grasp, although we're killing Horadon, this was a massive upgrade for me to use this, so that's why I picked it, right? And then the same with this. Heroic or normal Thunderforged Lightning Imbued Chalice is best in slot. We are not going to kill, he's not dying on Heroic anytime soon, so this is a no-brainer for me. These trinkets are awesome. Next up, in my opinion, is chest and legs. Chests and legs have the most stats, right? So you want to pick the items with the most stats. More predominantly, the most stats that benefit you. So it's really not going to make that much of a difference because you're going to be able to upgrade a lot of pieces over the course of a few weeks. But in order to min-max, chest and legs are definitely next, besides weapon and maybe trinkets, depending on how good your trinkets are. But a chest piece has so much. Look how much intellect it has. It has 3,000 stamina. That's more stamina than like 5 pieces of the previous tier. It's just fucking ridiculous. But yeah, I mean that is just an enormous amount of stamina. Look at that. It has double the stamina of this ring. It's just fucking ridiculous. So chest and legs are definitely next, and from there, pretty much shoulders, helm, a belt. Those are important. Gloves. Neck ring, bracers, these are the least important. Cloak, least important. Those are the least important if everything was equal. But it certainly is not. So we're going to go through each one of my pieces and hopefully illustrate why these few rules make sense. You know what I mean? Now, here's an example, right? This is my best in slot piece from normal. This is a tier helm dropping from twin consorts. We're not killing that on heroic right now, and it's probably a few bosses away still. So this was a no-brainer for me. It's a very good piece. It's the piece I entrusted with my legendary gem, and it made sense to me. Okay. this is something that you want to consider. There is no Thunderforged here, so this is best in slot normal, and I'm not going to get best in slot heroic for quite a while. No brainer. Necklace. This is a normal piece, not Thunderforged, but it is absolutely my best in slot. If I got the Thunderforged, if the Thunderforged version dropped, every healer in the raid would want it. So I'm probably not going to get it one way or the other. You know what I mean? So this seems to make a lot of sense to me, as the massive amount of spirit that this thing has is irreplaceable. It's better than every other piece. Okay, it has got so much spirit. It's not even funny. Like it has almost as much spirit as the shoulders. Right now, the shoulders 522. I did not choose to upgrade these. And I'll tell you why. Because it is not my best in slot. I would prefer to have 4 set, but I don't currently. I have these shoulders instead. Now these come in a Thunderforge variety, but maybe if I got those, I'd consider it. But they are not something I'm going to hang on to. I don't want to hang on to these, so I don't want to upgrade them. Okay, same with the cloak. This is not my best in slot. If the best in slot, especially if the heroic piece drops that I need, then I'm going to upgrade it. But this is not a priority, and cloak is on the lowest level anyway for me. It's one of the worst. It's a good option, obviously, but it's not one of my favorite options to upgrade. This is a fucking predominant piece. 549 heroic Thunderforge gear double upgraded. This was a no-brainer for me. As I said, look how much stamina and intellect this has. There was no question I was upgrading this piece. It is my best in slot. Off piece is the best in slot for paladins this tier. And I have the heroic Thunderforge version of it. What else is there? What else is there to say? No brainer. Okay, wrists. 522 still. Not upgrading these because they are not my best in slot. I don't have a Thunderforge version, but these are on my to-do list because they have very good stats. All right, so like I said before, it's important to know what stats are best for your spec and what ones you want to make sure you maximize. Spirit and Mastery, my best 2 stats. So these are definitely on my priority list. But they have less stats than some of my other high priority items, so it's not worth it overall. Okay, gloves. Once again, best in slot normal. We are not killing the Forge Trolls on heroic anytime soon, and there is no Thunderforged tier. If you have a normal boss and you're not killing the heroic boss, you should upgrade it immediately because you're not going to replace it for a very long time. So it should definitely be upgraded. Okay. Next up is the belt. Once again, this is a very good piece. It has best in slot stat allocations, but there is options out there from heroic that we are going to be killing shortly. So I made the choice not to upgrade this, but it will be upgraded shortly if I do not get the heroic belt I want. Okay, obviously I had to make some decisions here. So the belt and the bracers, while they are best in slot normal, have best in slot stat allocations, and they are from the reputation, so I don't have a Thunderforge version available. They are upgradable in heroics, and that's going to be happening shortly. And then the legs. Once again, this is another good example. This is best in slot normal tier. There is no Thunderforged tier, but that comes from G Kun, a boss that was the second boss we killed. So I will be getting the legs very shortly. So I will be holding off on the legs because when I get the heroic legs, they will be the ones I want to immediately upgrade. Okay, here's normal Thunderforged boots. I believe these come from Darumu? I can't remember, but it's a boss that I know we're not going to be killing relatively shortly on heroic. Once again, normal Thunderforge, not killing quickly on heroic, definitely upgraded. That was one. I think this is probably the last piece I did upgrade. Rings, no way. I can't ever justify upgrading a ring unless it's maybe heroic Thunderforge. Every other piece is better off to upgrade. Like just the amount of stats. Just look at the amount of stats. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. When you have that many stats on some pieces compared to some other pieces, like look at the difference. It's just ridiculous, you know? So, while these are good pieces, obviously these are very good normal pieces, heroic Thunderforge rings are going to be still probably one of the last things I upgrade. And then trinkets, as I said previous, are probably one of the most important things, especially as a healer, because these procs are massive. They are so good, and the amount of extra intellect you gain is just ridiculous. So I definitely went out of my way to upgrade them. As I said about this piece, not going to be killing heroic Li Shen shortly. We have killed heroic Horden, but there's so many healers that need it, and this trinket is so important for me, I chose to upgrade it. Okay, and then here we go. Another good example here is normal Tortos Thunderforged. That's the third heroic boss we've killed, so that's going to be farmed, and I'm going to get that shield. There's only a few other people who use the shield, so I'm going to wait on this piece. It'll probably be lower on the priority list than even the bracers and the belt, because they are going to probably stick with me even farther than this shield, despite the fact that it's Thunderforged. And then the weapon is I think this was the first piece I upgraded because it was a heroic piece. First of all, it's damn near best in slot. I mean, it's not actually best in slot, but I mean, I'm not going to be getting. I'm pretty sure the best in slot comes from Twin Consorts as well, and we are not killing that boss for a few bosses. So this is the one, the first one. Now, like I said, weapons, trinkets, chest legs, first pieces you want to upgrade, unless you have an outstanding heroic Thunderforge piece. But it's all kind of up to you. So I hope this helped you work through it. If you have any specific questions, I feel like that would be a lot more useful to people. So leave specific questions in the comments. Otherwise, make sure you're doing this every week. 1,000 Valor is not difficult to get. If you're on the Horde side and you need help getting it, just contact me and I'll do dungeons with you. I have tons of alts that need Valor, tanks, healers, etc. But everybody who is considering themselves a serious PvEer should be getting 1,000 Valor a week. Enjoy.